we want you to see this as our event, okay? Well, I was telling the presenters, I don't like the term faculty, it's presenters. It's not because they're brilliant and the rest of you aren't so brilliant. It's because there's only a limited amount of time. So that's one of the reasons we have the interview station, okay? We want you to see this as our event. How can you maximize value? We're dreaming of something really bigger than what's already happening, but we also see amazing things already happening in the Bay Area, and we're fans and champions of that. We want to make it stronger. So one way you can take advantage of this is take advantage of this amazing first-class media team that we have here and go create some content on the interview station. Also, don't think networking, think relationship building. Okay, we're going to have a big, generous lunch break. Then we have an afternoon break. And then we end with dinner at 5:30. So the program, the platform program ends at 5:30. I don't want you to think of the dinner as an afterthought. I want you to think as that could very well be the most important part of this whole day. Okay, you'll have gotten to know people, and that's where you can really build relationships. So don't think networking, think relationship building breaks, okay? Some ground rules. We have plugged into the time if we don't go overtime, which we all need your help helping us on that. We have a wonderful program that we've worked on very hard. You're welcome to have that if you want to know what's happening and help hold us accountable, okay? So we've built in Q&A time. So when we ask questions, try to be succinct. And like I say, if you're a big mouth like me, try to be quiet and let other people speak. And if you're shy, like some of you in here, speak up, okay? So we both have to partner on that. And we're going to do our best to MC. And so, you know, if we interrupt you, we're going to try to do that politely. But, you know, it's easier to ask forgiveness than to get permission. That's my philosophy, okay? So we have an idea parking lot, which is, where's outside the room to the left. Which it's a brilliant idea. We want to talk about it. We guarantee we'll read it. We don't guarantee we'll talk about it today, but I guarantee you we'll read it. If you have an idea and, you know, just don't have enough time to speak it out, or if you're a written person and don't want to speak, go put it on the idea parking board right out there. We have little notepads you can write on. And you can pin them to that board. All right? What's next? This is how we want you to approach the day. I already mentioned, I believe the most important thing is going to be the closing session. Okay? So think of the dinner and the closing session together. At 4:30 to 5:30, we're going to have one big family roundtable discussion. And we're going to say, we've ideated, we've been inspired. Who's already inspired? I'm inspired that you all showed up. Believe me, it's a miracle. And it's APEC. We didn't even know it was APEC, but we scheduled this event and they sent 2 presidents, or more than 1 president, to San Francisco to participate in just the good vibes we're creating here. I was energized just seeing people show up on time, okay? I was energized that I was able to get here on time, okay? My big fear is we're going to go through this, and at the end of the day, our minds are going to be creative. We're going to be thinking of ideas, and you're going to go home inspired and ideating and filled with creativity. I don't want that to happen. What I want is us to begin with the end in mind. I want us to be inspired, but then think through strategies, think through tactics, make new relationships, and come out of here with concrete commitments that you're going to follow through on. So the last time, we're going to spend 1 hour together, and we're going to have one big family discussion. We're going to have some of our panelists here, some of our presenters here in the front, but there's no divide other than this nice little carpet between what's happening up here and what's happening out there. And we're going to ask the questions, and we're going to answer it. What's your main takeaway from today? What did you learn that changed you? Just one thing. What are you going to do about it? And do not despise small beginnings. I'd rather say, you know what? I met Vanessa, and I'm going to start supporting her because I was really touched by their work. It's a small step. Rather than, oh, I'm going to change the whole world. I'm going to boil the ocean. Well, you got to start someplace, okay? So begin with the end in mind, all right? So that's an overview of the program. Oh, and here's me. because I'm a bridge builder. I believe in building bridges. And I think it's amazing the diverse group we're bringing together, okay? I'm super excited. A big shout out to Yaniv and GeoBrowser. You're going to hear from them just before lunch. I really believe in what they're building technologically. And how many places where we get community service workers together, social service providers, the faith community, and technologists and funders all together. You know, you get discouraged. The news would like to tell us everyone's divided. Well, they're lying, because look it, we're all here in the room. We're all together. So now I'm going to take a few, our Innovate partners. Look at this. These are all the people who are contributing to this event in some way or another. I get really excited when I look at that. You know, we don't have a place in the program for the sponsors to shout their piece, okay? So go get to know them. Talk to them about that, all right? This is what we're envisioning. A common vision, collaboration, humility, and data-informed policies. A common vision. Let's solve the Bay Area's biggest challenges. That's what I've been working on my entire career. I'm deeply motivated by my faith, but my faith tells me not to go hide in a room, get people around me who believe the way I believe, and just, you know, huddle together and have a holy huddle. My faith drives me to be like the founder of my faith, who went outside, who built bridges with those who were the outcasts and who were the lost, and sacrificed to break down bridges. I believe that we're going to be, can we agree to a common vision? Can we agree that homelessness, we shouldn't just help the homeless. We should be the ones that say we could solve that. Yeah. We envision a world where homelessness doesn't exist. Yeah. I tell my incarcerated brothers in San Quentin prison, I'm dreaming about one day coming here and I'll be in a walker or a wheelchair and Stuart will be helping me along, you know. He'll still be fit enough to play, and I'll just be cheering on and talking trash. And this will be a high-end condominium development. And we'll say, do you know this used to be a prison? What's a prison? Can I tell you about mass incarceration? What's mass incarceration? And we have to talk about it in the past tense. I'm envisioning tours of, like you go to the Tenderloin and they tell you the history of the jazz that was there. And this was here? I believe we're going to go to the nicest place of San Francisco, you know, and this Music Central. And there's going to be a museum there. And you go, you know what? It used to be what, you know, Homeless Central. Let's envision that we can change the world. Let's come together. And if we can embrace the common vision, collaboration is a best practice. Lots of people have quoted other people who have said, and you can prove it, it's on the internet. Someone famous once said, there's no limit to what a man can do if he doesn't care who gets the credit. There's even more a man can do if he really wants other people to get the credit. Other thing is we've got to have humility. We've got to understand other people who are bright and amazing have gone before us. They've tried it. We get to build upon them. But we have to have humility to learn that we don't know everything. And the biggest problem is not your ignorance. The biggest problem is your brilliance, because you're brilliant in one area. Then you turn a corner and you think you're still brilliant. And your brilliance just dropped. So there's people in here, like my goal is to be the stupidest guy in the room. And I thought I've done a pretty good job. Why? Not by getting stupider, but by getting really smart people in the room. Yeah. Collaboration, humility, data-informed policies. Let's not be driven by dogma or preaching or what we think should work. Let's have a feedback loop where we actually figure out what's happening, what's transforming lives, how can we learn from the best practices, and how can we all work together. That's what we're envisioning. That's why we're having this whole Innovate meeting. We envision a cycle of prevention and thriving, outreaching and transformation that then comes full circle. They're thriving and it's prevention. And this You know, you see all these downward spirals. Let's have an upward spiral of righteousness that's transforming society. A holistic approach. Housing is important. One of the big felt needs. I mean, really, it's systemic poverty. Yes, I'm glad you're nodding. I stole that. I was given that by Kathy, okay? Housing is important, but it's not about a house. It's about a human being at the center. Kathy will go more into this. They need all of these things. And any one, you take them out and it's mission critical and the whole thing breaks down. Can we envision person at the center and that it's all about restoring people? Every person has divine worth and it's worth it. And we need to believe in people. What I see, and Yaniv is going to share more about this, what we all envision is one big digital house. A best practice is to get everybody together and collaborating. We're not going to be able to build, well, maybe we will, but it's difficult to build one big house in the Bay Area like they're doing in other places. But what if we were connected through technology, through data sharing, through collaboration, through relational trust? And we could all work together. We could learn from one another. Then we could also be so much bigger than any one of us. Folks, we're just starting out. But guys, look around you. Innovate is we're just born. This is our first gathering. We're an hour into our existence. We're the biggest guy on the block. Look at who's in this room. If we can all collaborate together through relationship, if we can use technology to solve these problems, but again, it's humility that's coming in, because these are not trivial problems. Brilliant people have come before us and tried to solve them. We get to learn from their ideation. We get to fail first, fail forward, fail often, until you succeed. That's what we're envisioning at Innovate. And what is this all about? Hope. Hope. Imparting hope for the Bay Area.